Australia sort of side of things?
Sure. So yeah, I mean, Australia compared to looking at places like North America, obviously where Cam and all those guys kind of mainly hunt, it's a bit of a juxtaposition because they've got native deer there that
Yeah.
they're like it works on a tag system, and so
Yeah.
just to kind of bring you around on how their conservation works, and anyone who's listening
Please.
who doesn't really know is that so if you want to go hunt a deer in America, you've got to buy a tag.
Yep.
So say, depending on if you live in, say, Iowa, you might be able to get a tag there for a cheap. But if you're a non-resident of Iowa, you have to get a visitor tag, so you pay a bit more. But just to give you an example, so you might go to a hunting shop or an outdoor shop and you say, okay, I want one deer tag to hunt this season. And so you're going to utilize public land. They have a lot of public land hunting there. So essentially you'll go into a shop, you'll buy a deer tag that might cost you $1,000.
Wow.
The shop takes a clip of, say, $50. They make $50 off the tag. Then some of it I'm trying to think where it all funds down. But essentially out of that $1,000, it's about $800 of it goes back into the conservation of the animals and through I'm trying to think of the name of it's the DPI here, the Department of Primary Industries. But over there, it's like I'm trying to think, it's like the forestry or something like that. It's the organization that I guess manages the deer and things like that. So yearly, it's like $1 to $2 billion goes back into conservation. Yeah, it's huge. Like
that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
It is, and what people don't understand is like, there's certain standalone organizations and stuff. They're like, let's just say like I don't know, PETA, for example.
Right.
People like that, and a lot of their values, I respect.
For sure.
They'll be like, we give back to conservation, we're helping. And it's like, well, how much do you actually give? And when you're looking at a monetary value, hunters by far give so much more back to the industry. So, it's like I said, there's a bit of that juxtaposition of these two types of organizations. And hunters get pretty defensive about it because, as a lot of the time we all get portrayed in a bit of a bad light because, like you said, there's Disney movies and things like that where we're always seen as the bad guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, but taking it back to Australia, so deer were introduced back in the late 1800s, mainly fallow deer and red deer, and then they brought in sambar a little bit later on. So we've got 6 different deer species here in Australia, and they're all non-native. So the way that it gets classified here in Australia is a feral animal. So a feral animal, you basically got free range. So looking back to America, you've got a deer season. So let's say a deer season starts mid-August and kind of goes to December up into winter in their season. So that's the only time you're allowed to hunt it. And they have a bow season at the start, and then it goes into rifle and whatever else.
Right.
Where in Australia, I mean, we used to have a season, but now there's so many deer, there's so much population of deer all around that it's basically a free for all year round. You can hunt as much or as little as you like. So